with your parents getting sick, all of that. So it's probably escalated in that during this time. And so can you imagine the emotional stress of raising a baby? And there's different kinds of PPD. There's a psychosis, and then there's anxiety that's related to anxiety. So just the thought of, I'm gonna, lose my baby, or I'm gonna hurt my baby. All those, like, I don't want to do this, and kind of anxiety that you have when you have a baby, I'm sure it's escalated just like it would be in times like this, even more so.
Professor Andrade, we have Yadi with us now. I just wanted to stop you and introduce her quickly.
Okay, hi Yadi, are you here? Unmute yourself.
He was probably enjoying listening to you. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but you asked me to.
No,
yeah, I'm here. Hi.
Hi Yadi, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Excited. We had just a little talk right now on some facts that I saw online, as far as like it affects 1 in every 7 moms. It even affects fathers. And then we had a couple questions, but I kind of defined what it said in the book that we're using. But I shared that our text is so huge, like this thing is so big, and they dedicated 1 page to PPD. And I thought, oh no, I know someone who is like my favorite person to talk to about this, that if I wanted to know more information, the first person I'd go to would be you. And so we just talked about, just in this class alone, that would be 10 of us that would be affected by PPD.
Right.
If it's 1 in 7. And then we just talked about how the father, the effects of why the father would experience something like this different than the mother. But anyways, I know, I totally respect your time, and I know you have a house full of fun right behind you. And so I wanted to kind of introduce you first and give you the platform. But this is Yadi Lemus, and she's the mother of 3 children that are all very close in age, and 2 of those children are twins. And so her husband, Mark, I also know and appreciate, and she has a Mark support also. So it's a typical family. And something that how I wanted to introduce Yadi is that I met her in a middle of a very, very different season than I have ever met anyone, really. And so she was in desperate need of childcare, and that's where our first that's where our first conversations began. So she came into our school in need of childcare, and we talked and listened, and I saw her for a very short time. But I love and admire Yadi. She's just been an amazing mom. What I admire most about her is her energy, but also her real sarcastic humor that I love. I can't get enough of, and you can't help but laugh when you're around her. But she also does so much for the community. She has big support groups, and she'll explain a little bit of that, of what she does with moms and dads experiencing this. And there were some in our school also that she supported. So she was a really good asset to our school, but also a big pile of information she has on PPD. So Yadi, I want to give the platform to you so you can kind of, and she's got children, so we're just as gracious about this to her, and honoring and understanding, right? Because we come into these situations where someone walks by without a shirt on my screen. That's happened. And so it's like, what? So anyways, Yadi, go ahead and you can introduce yourself, kind of explain the season that maybe you were in when I first met you at my school. And
yes.
So we give you the platform.
Hi, ladies and gentlemen. I'm so excited to be here. This is so cool. I'm Yadi. I have to say that if I would have never thought that I will be doing this 3 years ago, when I was in the thick of it, in my darkest moments. So to be here now talking to you guys about my motherhood journey is huge, and my therapist is very proud. So yes, so I'm Yadi. I'm a mom of three. Mason just turned 6, and the twins, Mila and Miles, are 4. Um, so let's just start off with 1 in 7 women. I always have a problem with that because I feel like it's 1 in 7 women who reported it. There's a lot of women who do not report it that should be counted in that statistic. So that's always been like a huge issue with me, because I know that a lot of the Latino cultures, you know, they tell you, oh, pray on it, go to church, you know, put your big girl panties on, and this is what you got yourself into, so figure it out. And a lot of those women don't report it, so they should be counted on that. But yes, 1 in 7 is what everyone says. So yes, so like Michelle mentioned, when we met, the twins had just turned 1, and Mason had just turned 2 that September, and I found myself alone. I don't know if you pick up on the accent, but I'm not from California. I'm from Brooklyn, New York. My husband's from Whittier. And so we moved here, and I didn't have my family. I didn't have friends. I didn't know anyone here. And so I was home alone with 3 kids under the age of 1. Well, at this point, the age of 2. And it was tough. It was really, really hard. I was having suicidal ideations with a plan. I was thinking of harming myself and my children. I could actually like get myself out of my mind, and like I could see myself hurting them. Like this was a huge real possibility for me. Like I could see it happening. I would plan on like when my husband was going to come home, how long it would take him to drive home. I would think if I put the kids to bed, then I could kill myself, and then he'll be the only one to find me. So there was a huge plan on it. I didn't have support from family or friends. The thought of me going to therapy, it was non-existent because I had no one to stay with the kids. So in my situation, I thought, well, I can't go to therapy because who's going to stay with my kids, right? I can't take my kids with me to therapy. I will go days without showering, brushing my teeth, eating, and these are things that happen that if you're paying attention, you could pick up on. And you know, it's like these things that happen that you could, you know, say, okay, this is like if you see a friend of yours who hasn't showered for a couple of days, this could be a sign that something's happening, right? You know, and another thing that I think about, you know, when you hear about depression, actually yesterday, in preparing for this, because I wanted to stay on topic, I found this quick thing on Instagram. It says signs of depression: hopelessness, helplessness, worthlessness, persistent sadness, increased crying, lack of interest, no energy or motivation, insomnia or hyperinsomnia, thoughts of self-harm. But people don't think that depression looks different for everyone. And I wasn't home sitting in a corner crying. My depression showed in anger. And so I was angry at my husband. I had resentment towards him because he got to get in a car and drive to his office and poop and pee by himself and eat lunch and have adults. So these kind of things to me became like a huge issue because I just held so much resentment. And then he would show up at home at 6:30 in the evening, eat dinner, and the kids were in bed by 7. So he would do nothing. And so that resentment turned into one day me pulling a knife on my husband. And that was the thing that just, I realized like something is wrong. I'm either going to kill myself, or I'm going to harm my children, or I'm going to kill my husband, and I'm going to be on an episode of Dayline NBC, which by the way, I love. But still, I don't want to be on an episode of Dayline NBC. And it became a reality. I could see myself going there. And I decided like, I have to do this for myself. So I came home. It was on a like regular Wednesday, and my husband came home, and I had made spaghetti, and I had a bag packed, and he was like, "Where are you going?" And I was like, "I'm going to St. Joseph's Psychiatric Hospital in Orange County, and I will be there for a week, and you need to figure it out." And I had my neighbor drive me. It makes, I'm gonna cry because it brings it back. I'm sorry. I had my neighbor drive me, and I was there for a week, and that's when my healing journey and understanding postpartum depression and understanding that I was going, you know, it's many things. It's the chemical imbalance, which you can't control, right? Because your body just goes through all these changes. And it was not having a support system. It was, you know, feeling alone and feeling helplessness and feeling like there's nothing I could do to make these kids happy, right? In my head, I was like, they deserve better. They deserve another mom. Like, I have no patience. And I used to say that to my husband. I'm like, why would God give me children? I have no patience. Like, doesn't he know this about me? And it's just, I was just in this cycle of, you know, feeling helpless and hopelessness and worthlessness. And insomnia was a real thing. Anxiety was a real thing. I literally had thoughts about, okay, I'm home alone, and if there's an earthquake, like, how do I grab 3 kids and leave this house? You know, what if like the ground opens up, and like who do I save? Like, things like this, that like they're so far-fetched, but you only think of like the worst case scenario always, and you live in that place where you're always constantly thinking of like the worst case scenario and how you're going to get out of that, and you're alone with 3 kids, and you know, and the feeling of like having no energy and motivation to me was completely opposite. I was doing all the things. If you came to my house, you would be like, this house is spotless. Like, you could eat off my toilet. And my house was super clean. I cooked meals. I did the organic thing. I was like super high functioning. And it's crazy because when my aunt came from New York, to help me, she said, on my way to your house, I was thinking, oh my God, her house is going to be a mess, right? Because your house is going to mirror, you know, your mental health and how you're feeling. And she was like, I walked in and I was like, this house is freaking spotless. But again, I was like a high functioning person with postpartum depression and postpartum anxiety. So yeah, I did have insomnia, thoughts of self-harm, but I'm just, you know, and I there's a lot of times, and I'm sure you've heard this, where people, you know, kill themselves and end their lives, and they're like, oh, but he didn't look depressed, or she didn't look depressed. And I'm like, well, what does that look like? Is there a picture that everyone knows about that I don't know about? Because again, depression looks different for everyone. And a lot of people are very good at hiding it and masking whatever pain they're feeling. So so stop saying that, please. And if you ever have any doubts as of someone's actions or how they're reacting to certain situations, ask. Say, hey, is something going on? Do you need some time to talk? Can I watch your kids so you could take a shower? Have you eaten today? And it's crazy because during this pandemic, I figured out, like, you know, the physical touch is gone, right? But we can still text and call and DM, and our phones are always here, right? My phone is always with me. So instead of just asking someone, hey, how you doing? Which the answer will be like, I'm good, I'm okay, right? And then it ends the conversation. I ask questions like, hey, how you doing? Did you eat today? Have you had protein today? What's going on? What fruit? Did you eat fruit today? And I ask these questions that make somebody go, I didn't eat fruit today. Hey, did you drink water today? You know, did you shower in the last 2 days? Like, questions like this that will continue a conversation going. It's like an open-ended, and it's funny, right? Because you imagine me texting you, hey, did you shower today? You'd be like, actually I didn't. Right? It's funny, and it'll make you talk to me. Anyway, so when I met Michelle was because leaving the psychiatric hospital, you know, I had a whole support system. I now had a psychiatrist, I had a therapist, I had a place where where I would go to do individual therapy and group therapy, and they would watch my kids. Like, they were like, oh no, there's no reason for you not to follow this program. So leaving the hospital, I had my medication set up. I had my psychiatrist I was seeing 2 days later. I had my therapist, and everything was just like, it's there. And now it's up to you to do the work and keep up with these appointments and keep up with your medication and, daycare set up and all these things. And, but leaving, the doctor had my husband come in, and it was like a whole team of them. And they were like, do you understand what's happening? And my husband is an engineer. He's actually a Cal Poly alumni. So he's like super proud that I'm on this. And he wants a sweatshirt. So can someone just send me a Cal Poly sweatshirt real quick for him? That says alumni. He's super proud. We do the pumpkin thing. So you probably see me and my crazy kids at the pumpkin patch if it ever comes back. 2025. I don't know. Anyway, so they called them in, and they were like, do you understand what's happening? And, I love my husband, but his brain is numbers and like black and white, and things make sense to him. So he's like, I don't understand. She had our babies are healthy. I have a great job. We have a beautiful home. I don't understand why she feels like this, right? That was his take on it. And I get it. And so the doctors made sure to explain to him, this is what's happening inside of her. This is the chemical imbalance. And like leaving the hospital, my husband was like, I get it. And now I know how to support you. Because before, he felt like, he was like, I would drive home and I would think she's either dead, my kids are dead, I don't know what I'm walking into. And that to him, we're all in therapy now. And let me tell you, I love therapy. Everyone's in therapy. Therapy is like the thing. So do it. You want to be in. And so he got a better understanding of what's going on. And one of the things that the doctor said was, you need to put these kids in some daycare. Like, she needs time for herself. There is no way that she can function and be available for 3 kids, 24 hours, 7 days a week. Like, it's just not okay. She needs time for herself. And so, we started looking for daycare for Mason, because he was at the age that he could go. And let me tell you, just removing one child, I don't know if many of you have more than one or have 3, you remove one person, it makes a huge difference. And that's how it felt. Like, I needed to, yes, Diana, thank you. And I just needed to remove one child and make sure that he was in a safe place. And I always joke around about this, because some of you that are moms on this, I'm sure when you look for daycare, you're like, oh, I want to make sure this is a good place. What are they teaching them? What are they eating? All these things that, at that time, I remember being such a, like, I need to get this kid somewhere, that they could have told me they were pedophiles. I probably would have been like, take him, which is horrible, but it's funny, because I was just like, I need this kid out of my house. And I didn't do any research. And it's funny, because a lot of people were like, do you know what they do at that daycare? That daycare is the best daycare in Whittier. And I'm like, really? I don't know. They seem like nice people. And he's learning. Like, I really did no research on this. And it turned out that they were right. It was like the best daycare. These people and these teachers, Michelle, they became family. And it was the best decision that we made. So this is what happened. I find the daycare, I'm calling. I left a couple of messages. I got a message back saying that there was a waiting list. And I was like, oh no, I can't wait. I need this to happen yesterday. Wait, I want to hear what she said. This is funny. When I tell her from his sister, she gets up. Yes. Now, do you get it now? I get so happy when someone takes at least one kid. And I'm like, please, please be good, so they take you again. Eat all your veggies. Sorry, you see, I got sidetracked. Okay. So I said, I'm gonna take matters into my own hands. I think that's the New Yorker in me. I was like, okay, so she said no on the phone, but she can say no to my face, right? And so I packed up the kids in the triple stroller. Well, you see, this is the thing. With the depression, I don't feel like there's a end date. I think that with therapy and medication, you do get better. And I've already decided and made peace with the fact that I'm going to have to take medication and do therapy for the rest of my life. And that's okay, because if I had a heart disease or I had diabetes, I will have to take medication for the rest of my life. And no one would judge me, right? Because it's something that I have to do to live. And so in order for me to be a good wife, a good mom, a good friend, a good member of community, a good support for other moms, I have to take my medication and I have to do therapy. Yes, at the beginning, it was very intense. I was at 100 milligrams of my medication. I was seeing, I was doing therapy alone and therapy with group and marriage counseling. Now, 3 years later, I just do therapy on my own once a month. My medication is now at, I think, 20 milligrams, 25 milligrams. And so it changes. And then the kids are older and they pretty much just look for me for snacks, which during quarantine is like every 2 minutes. But, they don't need me as much. They have each other to play with. And I'm now this like a referee, like, don't hit, share, don't do that. Come here, and yes, I feel like I will always be on medication because I had underlying depression and anxiety when I was younger that I didn't I didn't treat and I didn't get help for. So I think being pregnant and then giving birth and then the situation that I was in made those things come up. And it's different for everyone. There are women who just by asking for help and their mother-in-law, their moms moving in and helping, going back to work, exercising, all these things helps them get better, and they don't need medication and they don't need therapy. It's different for everyone. Like, there's no right way. It's your journey, and it's it's a journey. It's your motherhood story. It's your motherhood journey. It's your journey with your children, and everyone's circumstance is different. So I can't tell you like when it will end. I just know that it does get better. And it's okay if you take medication for the rest of your life. And it's okay if you are in therapy for the rest of your life. Again, don't compare your motherhood journey to anyone else's motherhood journey, because mothers are different. Every pregnancy is different. Every child is different. So with that, I went down to Michelle's daycare, and she saw me with the 3 kids, and I was like, shaking, and the medication hadn't kicked in yet. It takes about 6 weeks for the medication to kick in and start working. And I was just like, I need help. I need my son to be here. This is what's happening. This is my situation. And it's crazy because she was probably just having her coffee. And I walked in and I'm like, I just got out of the psychiatric hospital and I need help. And she gave me help. And that Monday, Mason started school. So I always say that she saved my life. She was one of those people that saved my life and knew and could see that there was a need and bended some rules. And so it's crazy because there's a lot of moms who, like I said, love the school and say to me, how long is the waiting list? And I'm like, no, is that any wait? But I'm sorry that I made you cry, Sydney. But yeah, it takes a community. It takes sounds Canadian, I'm sorry. So it takes a lot. It takes a group of people and building community, and that's something that I had to do here because I didn't have my community here. My community's all still in Brooklyn because you never leave Brooklyn, but I left. And so now I have my community here in Whittier, and I make sure that I make myself available to moms in the community because I don't want anyone to ever feel alone and deep in the depression. I host clothing swaps. I host diaper drives. Back in July, I hosted a diaper drive and we helped 175 women with diapers for 2 weeks, diapers and wipes. And that was so cool. And because of that, State Farm reached out to me and gave me some more funds so that I could do another diaper fund. And I'm going to be in a State Farm commercial. So I'm famous. You're welcome. I'm that friendly neighbor. I'm gonna be the new Jake. So anyways, yeah, so any questions? Did I cover everything?
Oh my gosh, and then some.
Sorry. It starts with want to start change and make impact. Yes. And I feel, a lot at the very beginning of this, I always thought, why me? Why me? It's that simple. Why me? And now 3 years later, I see how much I've helped women. And I've spoken to in different panels with like at UC Irvine, now with you guys at UCLA, and different hospitals where they focus on maternal mental health. And I'm part of Mom Jeans PPD, Help Moms Fight Jeans PPD. If you're a mom and you're interested to be part of this program, they'll send you a kit and you give them your DNA and they test your DNA, and in hopes that our daughters and our daughters' daughters will have more answers towards PPD. So I can always you can follow them on Instagram. It's called Mom Jeans Fight PPD. It's an app. So you go on the app and they send it to you. You spit, a lot of spit. And you send it in. They're based in New Jersey, and they're helping come up with not a cure, but a why, and hopefully that 1 in 7 number will change. And they send you surveys, and during pandemic, they've been sending a lot of surveys because, a lot of us are home with our children and our husbands and dogs and cats and everyone. So anyways, I have some questions. They're sending me questions. So let me look. Okay. How do I look at the messages, guys?
I can help as well. So in the video they watched, they mentioned that they were afraid of germs. And did you have a phobia of germs or like that? Did that work for you?
I didn't have a phobia of germs. What I did do was that I kept my mind busy by cleaning, but not because I was afraid of germs, but more because I just needed my mind to be busy, because when I wasn't busy, then I was thinking about harming myself and my children. So keeping busy was huge for me. Yeah. Okay.
How about, how did you feel PPD with your first child, or did it all just happen after you had the twins?
So after having the twins and going to the hospital, I learned a lot more about PPD, and I was given, some literature and books and, Google and talking to other women, and in getting more information, I realized that I did have PPD with my son. And the earliest that I could think about is at my 20 weeks pregnant, which I know that was another question. Do you have PPD during prenatal phase? And a lot of women have said yes. And I mean, you could imagine, I don't know, for those of you who only have one child, or like your first pregnancy, you have a lot of anxiety about birth. Like, how does a human come out of this body? Like, how, there's so much anxiety, and how much, like, am I gonna be in so much pain? I'm gonna die. Like, how is this gonna happen? What is the best way? Do I vaccinate? Do I not vaccinate? Do I do unmedicated or medicated? Do I give birth in a tub because J-Lo did it, or do I go to the hospital? Like, and I feel like also, social media is it's impactful, and you're watching it and you're like, oh my God, look, she had a natural birth and her snapback game. No, that's not. They have money, and they have chefs, and they have people cooking for them. They have no stress. A lot of your gut and this fat right here is stress. And so you can think like, oh, but so-and-so, her snapback was a month. Like, it's different for everyone. So I do believe that in the prenatal phase, especially when you're a first-time mom, there's a lot of questions. Do I have enough wipes? Do I have enough diapers? Oh my God, how much clothes does he need? Does he need a swing? How many swings do we get? Do we get 3 swings? Do we have 1 swing in each room? How many car seats? Is this car seat right? Oh my God, am I going to drive this baby home? Is they going to, and this is what happens. You go to the hospital, and 2 days later, they're like, bye, and take your baby. And now you got to keep a human alive. And if you are a young mom and you're like 17, 16, 18, you're like, I barely keeping myself alive. So those things, that anxiety could build up, and then once you have the baby, it could literally just like explode. And I think with the twins, you know, with my son, I was able to mask it and not pay attention to it, and I just had him. And I think with the twins, it exploded in my face, and my choices were either to do something really bad and killing myself or hurting them, or getting help. Like those were the only two choices I had. So
thank you, Yadi. Another question is how is
yeah.
PPD different from the baby blues?
Okay, so the baby blues, how I understand it, the baby blues occur for a few hours each day. So you come home and you're looking at your baby and you like burst into tears, right? You're like, I can't believe this baby belongs to me. Oh my God. And you're just like in your feelings, and you're like, I'm so grateful I have this baby. And then it goes away. And then it can happen, you know, and like in 2 weeks, like couple of days here and there, when you're like, oh my God, I'm so in love with this baby. And it's more like happy tears. And then postpartum can happen within 4 hours, 4 weeks. And it's more severe. You then becomes, you know, extreme stress. You have noise sensitivity, aggression, feelings of detachment. Like you're looking at this baby and you're like, like, I don't really like you. I'm keeping you alive, but you know, and it's like you don't feel this love for this baby. Panic attacks, like I said, always thinking of like the worst case scenario. And let me tell you, and another thing that I always tell people, that although I have all these support systems, you know, I have my therapist and I have my medication and my husband and my friends, and you may have that at the beginning of your birth. You know, you come home to a house full of people, and that could trigger, because it's too much. It's like, I want to nurse, I want to bond with this baby, and all my tias are here and all my uncles are here. My uncle's here. I don't want to whip out my boob and feed my baby, but this is something that's important to me. So, you know, it's all these things. So too much support is probably not good either. Like I said, it varies with every situation. But what I say also is that although I have all these support systems and I'm doing so good, I still have bad days. And that's okay, because we all have bad days. And good days come with bad days. And you know, I'm not sitting here telling you, you know, I'm so happy. Like before I got on this call, I yelled at the kids to brush their teeth. So I mean, you know, it's an everyday struggle. It's a journey. You have to work at this. This is, you know, I'm not gonna wake up tomorrow and be cured and have nothing bother me or anything. But the medication does help me a lot. So yes, that's okay. Anything else?
Okay, another question is how long does it last? But I think you addressed that. You said it's different for everyone and it's a lifelong battle.
Right.
And, how about, did your husband know what you were going through, and did you talk to him about it, or did you hide it?
I hid it. I always felt like he didn't understand what I was going through. And I think that the times, because I was so angry and I held so much resentment towards him, he couldn't say anything. There was nothing he did right. There was nothing, you know, everything he did and everything he said was wrong. Like, to like him chewing, like, do you have to chew like that? It became so like nitpicking. And, you know, to this day, I'm like, I don't know why this man is with me, because I put him through some stuff. But yeah, like, I don't think he understood what I was going through. Maybe he had an idea, but also, you know, he comes from a family where these things are not talked about, and these things are looked down upon, and you know, you don't talk to people about this. And so I don't think that he knew to like ask questions or get me help. Like, I think he really just felt like there was nothing he could do that was right, you know.
Mm-hmm. A couple more questions. How did you find the courage to finally come out and find the resources and actually go to the hospital?
Well, I think, I don't know if it was courage, but more fear.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because I found myself in that situation where I was gonna do it. I was gonna kill myself, and I was gonna, just end everything because I was so tired. It's like, every day for 2 years, I was fighting my mind. You're in this constant battle with your mind. And I was so exhausted. I was exhausted of not sleeping. I wasn't sleeping. I had postpartum psychosis. And it just became really bad. And so to me, the thing that got me to go to the hospital was fear, because I didn't want to be another mom on the news when it's too little too late, and everybody go, oh my God, how can she do that to her kids? And because I was there, whenever I see a news about a mom killing herself or her children, my immediate thought is sadness for her that she didn't have support, because it takes a lot to get to that point, a lot. And it's a lot of and it's, you just get so tired, because it's like fighting with this imaginary person, right? And you never win. And so I think what got me, not I think, what I believe what got me to make that phone call to my insurance, to get in contact with what psychiatric hospital was in my network, to figure out what was the steps to get into the hospital and all that, was because I was in fear. I was in fear. And also, and this is, I never really say this ever, but I also thought that if I did kill myself, that my kids will always know that I did everything I could for them, that I got the help that I needed, and I did everything that I could, and mommy still couldn't do it. And so I just wanted them to know that I did the most, that I got the help. And even though I did that, now we're in this situation. And I also thought about, it's like all these things, right, that come into your mind. I also thought about Mason being in college, right? Which is, I think, was the best experience of my life. Mason being in college, at a bar on Mother's Day weekend, and someone says to him, hey, are you going home to celebrate Mother's Day? And he would say, my mom killed herself when I was 2-3 years old. And I didn't want that to be his story. Mm-hmm. And so every day I wake up and I fight, and I do it for my kids, and I do it for myself, because I deserve to be happy. I deserve to be healthy. I deserve to enjoy these memories and be with my children and have a good marriage. I deserve all these good things, but I know that I have to work at it. So, oh my God, I'm sorry, I'm crying. I wasn't gonna cry.
Yadi, there's a lot of questions, and they're all good questions, but I just want to stop and I just, I'm gonna try not to cry, but I just want to thank you for just your willingness to be raw and reflective, because I know there's so many people here today, even myself, that you're just helping me to, just touching the depths of my heart and just helping me to see people struggling in a different way, because not everyone's willing. And even myself, I think, oh, I remember I went through that, but I couldn't tell anybody. I wasn't brave enough to tell anybody. Right. So I just want to thank you. It's such a blessing to hear your story.
I'm sorry, I'm crying.
And I want to show a picture of her family.
Oh, yeah.
Are you okay with that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. Oh, those are my little coconuts. That's them.
I love those pictures, by the way.
Oh my God, yeah, my friend did porch pictures for us, because that's the thing now. Porch pictures. I actually have this one. I don't know if you guys could. Where's the camera here? This phone. Hold on.
Oh, I love. Yeah.
Oh, where is it?
Look at that.
Oh, that's so precious.
That's so good to see a story, to see like the beginning, and even though it's not the end, it's just hope. It gives us hope, right?
Yeah. Thank you. Oh my God. I'm sorry. The husband and wife, thank you so much. We try to be cool. Yeah. So I oh my God, this is so much.
You don't have to answer all the questions, but I'm looking at the wonderful feedback. You know, congratulations. Thank you for sharing. You have so much strength. I admire your willpower and strength. I mean, these is just, it's so amazing that you can share and really just empower other people to make good quality choices and to say, hey, it's okay if I'm struggling with this. So thank you so much.
And I just saw the, so is there a difference between PPD and PP psychosis? So psychosis is under PPD, and the psychosis refers to when you're having like you're hearing voices and you're having like those kind of experiences where you're thinking worst case scenario, aggression is made part of the psychosis. People don't talk about it much because it could be very embarrassing, you know, to admit that you were in that situation of you know, of harming yourself and your children. So you don't hear about it too much, you know. Can they detect a chemical imbalance? Yes. So, excuse me. So before I got on medication, they did blood work to see my progesterone or my hormones and see those kind of levels. And they were able to prescribe me the right medication for me. And also it's also a journey with medication. It takes about 6 weeks to kick in. And so you could get a little like, what is that word when you just like, when is this going to work? Like, I want this to work already. I took it 2 days. Like, why am I not feeling better? And it takes about 6 weeks for the medication to kick in and kind of start working with your own body and your chemical imbalance. And sometimes, you know, after the 6 weeks, you get diarrhea, or you can't sleep, or you get this funky rash somewhere. And now they have to change that medication to something else. And in order to change you, they have to wean you off and then get you something else. And now that's going to take 6 weeks to work. So be patient. It's not like there's no miracle pill. It does take time for it to work. So that's good to keep in mind, so that you are patient with yourself and you're patient with the journey. And no, it's a journey. There's not a race. You're not racing against anyone. It's going to take time. Also, therapy, I call it's like dating. You know, the first therapist you meet, you're like, I don't know about this person. And then you go to another therapist and you're like, what the heck, where these people get their degrees from? And then you go to another person, and you know, you therapy date for a while until you find that person that you're like, yes, I connect. Yes, I feel comfortable. Yes, I want to tell you my whole entire life. And it's like you go, you tell, and she's like, go do these things, go write in a journal, go. To me, the therapy that works for me is a two-way street. And she allows me to say how I'm feeling, to say, you know, what if I did this? And she's like, yeah, what if you did those things? You know, it's a give and take. It's a two-way street. It's not just me talking and her telling me, well, you're wrong, you should have done this. Now go home and write a journal. Bye. And where's my $50 copay? You know, it's not that didn't work for me. So it takes time to find the right therapist. It takes time to find the medicine. And then once you have these things, they work. I've also done acupuncture. I've done hypnotherapy. And that was really cool, and it helped me a lot, but it's not covered under my insurance. So we couldn't do it anymore. But I do chiropractic care. I'm now working out, whatever that means. I mean, if you ever see me running, you should start running, because there's something wrong. Zombies are coming. It's 2020, so don't ask any questions, just start running. So I'm like trying to work out. I Googled also, there's happy foods that you can eat. And you know, fresh air is good. Time on your own is good. You know, people say, oh, self-care. And again, self-care looks different for everyone. I'm not one to get my nails done and get my toes done. So to me, that's not self-care. Self-care to me is going to Target by myself. And you know, reading a book and going to the beach and, you know, spending time with friends. And I love hosting, and I plan weddings. And so coordinating events and coordinating weddings and telling people what to do and how to do it, where to go and how to get there is my thing, and it makes me so happy. And so that to me is self-care. And so just know that too. So when people are always preaching self-care, like, you know, oh, you should have a skincare routine. If you don't, that's okay. Water and soap, it's fine. Just figure out what self-care means to you and do that. You know, and if it's not these, you know, getting a massage. I mean, getting a massage is expensive. Nails and toes every 2 weeks, that's expensive. So yeah, figure out what self-care means to you and do that. So I'm just saying, like, it's a huge group of things, you know. If medication is not the way that you want to go, that's okay. Do therapy. If therapy is not your thing, you could do just medication. If you don't want to do those things, there's other things to do. I just always think, be honest, be transparent, and tell people. So, you know, when someone says, oh, I'm going to come over and see the baby, when they come see the baby, tell them, can you do the dishes? Can you do laundry? Can you hold this baby so I can shower? Like, don't just sit there and stare at me and watch me take care of the baby. I don't need that. So you have to be able to say, like, this is how I need help. This is how you can support me. Because people don't know unless you ask. So any other questions? Are you guys still with me? Did anybody fall asleep?
No.
Okay.
I know your heart, and I know if you help just one person in this group, which that 1 in 7 number, now I'm not going to attest to that anymore after hearing this.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Even if it was just one person you helped, I know that you felt it was all worth it just to share your story, because I know your heart. And there's so many things you're involved in. And there's, you know, 70 people in this class right now listening.
What?
From Cal Poly. Isn't that
Are
amazing?
you serious? I thought it was just the people in this one screen.
Right?
That's 8 people here. No? Okay.
There's two.
Thanks, Perla. Perla's like, no, girl.
You cried in front of a whole...
Oh my God. You guys better not make a meme out of my ugly crying face. And if you do, make sure I'm like super famous.
And that you have a CPP sweatshirt on.
Yes. Can anyone just send me a sweatshirt real quick for my husband?
And a GoFundMe.
Make sure that I become like that famous meme, and then I could buy all the diapers and wipes. So this is another thing that I do. I do a diaper drive-by. So if you want to volunteer, come. We are social distancing. You can wear your mask. Everyone stays in their car, and you just hand them over a bag of diapers and wipes. It feels so good to help these moms. It's a crying fest. You cry the whole day. You know, I just set up an Amazon gift, like a baby registry, where you could buy diapers or wipes and send them to me. And one box, $20. Like, it's, you know, skip your Starbucks today. If that's your self-care, I'm sorry. But yeah, so I take diapers. I have a link on my Instagram. You can follow my Instagram. What is my Instagram?
Could you copy your link on, I don't know, and put it in here for the students, or maybe send
Yeah. I could do that. This is that's my Instagram. I don't know. Can you guys see it?
If you read it to me, I'll type it in the chat. Can you read it?
Okay, it's Mrs. MRS _ Lemus, LEMUS. And if you look in my bio is the Amazon baby registry, so you can click there, or you could send me cash to my Venmo, but I'd rather you buy the diapers, because then I have to go to Target and then I get sidetracked, and it's a thing. So, but yeah, look, so I started collecting diapers on Sunday, so I'm going to show you how many diapers I have so far. Brace yourselves.
Yikes.
So that's all the diapers and wipes. So it's happening. I'm excited. You know, the reason why I started the diaper and wipes fund and diaper drive was because if you're already feeling depression and anxiety, the stress of providing can be overwhelming. And because we're all going through this, and a lot of us have lost our jobs and have had to change the way that we live and our budgets, I always think that the feeling of failure as a mom, because you can't provide, is a threat to life itself. I think that if you're already in that line where you're just feeling so hopeless and worthless, the fact that you can't provide diapers for your children could be the thing that sets you over the edge. And it's overwhelming. Oh my God, look at someone else is bringing me diapers. Say hi. It's a mom. She's dropping up diapers. Thank you. Thanks, babe. By the way, everyone knows my address. And I have people dropping up wipes and diapers all the time. So if you follow me on Instagram, there's a video of one of my posts of the diaper drive, and that's what it looked like. So I would need volunteers to sort through that. I have a list of moms and what each mom, what sizes they need. And yeah, I do that. I also host clothing swaps. Kids outgrow their clothes very, very fast. And I love to recycle and upcycle and share these things with other moms. And so what it is that you bring the clothes that don't fit your children anymore, and you take the clothes that fit your children. There goes me. Here's all the moms. This is the day of. That's me talking. I don't know if you could. I saw that the need had was for diapers and wipes. And, COVID is here, and this is a new way of living. A lot of people are struggling, and I just saw a need, and I have a wonderful community, and I knew that they will help me fulfill that need. So those are all the diapers. One of the mom's husband did this video for me for free.
Nice, with a drone and everything.
Yeah. So I just asked for their Instagram name. It was so much fun. And then we had another mom who owns a taco business, and she came at the end and cooked tacos for all of us, for the volunteers. So that mom had 2 children. So she had enough diapers for 2 children for 2 weeks, diapers and wipes.
Wow.
So I'm not saying I'm getting you diapers for a year, which, by the way, that will be like the goal. So if anyone knows the guy from Amazon, let me know. And so, and it's so important to me to have my community support me that I wanted to be that person for someone. Seeing the mom with these help, how does that make you feel? It makes me feel. I'm gonna cry again. Happy. My heart is so full. I've been just so excited to see them get this help. Now social distancing. I'm a hugger. Feeling of not being alone, of having community, of that thought of it's okay to ask for help. It does take a village to raise strong children, and it just makes me so happy. And I hope that it continues, that the help continues, and that those moms that I help today will continue helping other mothers in the community. Any words to these moms? Thank you for allowing me to be part of this journey, for being vulnerable and strong enough to ask for help. And I'm just so grateful to be doing motherhood with you. Thank you.
There's your tribe.
So that's the tribe. Sorry. You see, I cried again. I cry all the time. But yeah, so I'm getting ready to do another diaper drive. The people over at Me Too Network are helping. State Farm is helping. The community is helping. I don't know if you are familiar with Whittier, but Masa Taco is a restaurant here, and they donated pallets of diapers and wipes. So
Great.
we are hoping that we can help 300 moms, right? The goal always gets bigger. And yeah, so if you want to be part of it, shoot me a DM. Thank you so much. But it all started from this very dark place, you know, and now, I'm in a better place, and I'm able to bring light to other moms, and I'm so grateful. And so what I was saying before about asking God, why me? I know the answer now. Is because he knew that I was gonna talk about it. He knew that I had a big mouth and everyone was gonna let everybody know what my struggle was. And that in talking about it and sharing it with you all and other people, I was gonna help a mom. And you may not be a mom, but your cousin may be going through it. So it's okay to ask questions, and just know that when it's your turn, it may not happen, it may happen. And if it does, there is help, there is resources, there's support. And the more that we talk about it, the less, what is that word? So, I'm sorry?
Stigma. Yeah, the less stigma there will be.
Yeah, the less stigma it will be, and the less guilt. And, because there shouldn't be any guilt associated with it, or scared about other people judging you, and I just say it's a journey. Be patient. I know that another of the questions that you wrote on it was if you would get postpartum depression, like if you already had it with one child, will you get it again in another pregnancy? And my answer to that is, obviously I'm not a doctor, but I feel like if I were to get pregnant again, which I'm not, I feel that I now would know what things to look for. I would know that I need support and community, and I will make sure that I have those things already in place just in case shit hits the fan. You know what I mean? Like, have these things in order. So just in case it happens, you know what to look for, you know who to call, and you know what to say and who to say it to, because those are things that are very important. I feel that a lot of women do ask for help, and I think that they may not be asking the right person, right? So I had the fortune of going and speaking to people who do this for a living and are educated in this and have dedicated their lives to this. But I remember mentioning it to my mom, and her answer was, well, I had 3 kids and I'm fine. And you just need to get it together. And that could have made me never ask anyone again and suffer in silence for however many years. But I knew that wasn't true. And I was like, wait, there's so many people giving birth. Like, I can't be the only person feeling like this. I can't. And then when I started talking about it, and other women were like, oh my God, yes, I felt that way. Oh, that makes sense. Yes, I felt just like that. Feeling like you're not alone is so huge. Feeling like you could come together and bond in this moment. And with this, it's amazing. And I think that the more we talk about it, the more connections we will make, and the more aware we'll become and more educated on this topic. So
that's why you're here. That's why you're here. I said,
yeah.
that's why you're here.
Yes. And then this is the Mom Jeans Fight PPD. If anyone wants to join them.
Can you say it and I'll type it in the chat?
Yeah, it's Mom, MOM, Jeans, GENES, Fight, FIGHT, PPD. Your Mom Jeans could unlock the cure for postpartum depression. Download the app, enjoy the UNC Chapel Hill research study. So I share my DNA in hopes that my daughter will have answers, or my daughter's daughter, and generations to come,
Thank you so much. This has been
so
inspiring, Yadi. And I see.
Thank you. And I also have a podcast, if you like my accent.
Oh, yeah. Of course.
I have a podcast with my friend Laura. And if you could think of my total opposite person, this is Laura. And our podcast is called Not Your Madre's Podcast. And we talk about all the things you don't talk to your mom about. And we cover things from postpartum. Yeah, Now Your Mother's podcast. There it is.
It's Not Your Mother's podcast, or is it Not Your Madre's podcast?
Madres podcast.
Oh, so sorry. I lost
No,
it.
no, it's okay. Well, that's another podcast. They're good too, I'm sure. Follow them. That's how you build community.
Madres, M-A-D-R-E-S.
Madres, yes. Not Your Mother's podcast. And we talk about, postpartum depression. Yes, Not Your Mother's podcast, or one word. We talk about not liking our husbands. We talk about, sex after baby, sex before baby, body after baby. And we also talk about our college experiences, right? Because I was a whole other person before children. I was like really cool. I went to Brooklyn College. I was a flight attendant for many years. So I've traveled the world. So I was like a whole person before having all these kids. And yes. And so we talk about that. She's just listening. She's my total opposite. She's from Whittier. And she's super cool, but us together works. I'm just the whole package. And I cook. Not kidding. Sometimes. And I'm famous. Not kidding. I'm not famous.
You are in the community that I'm in. I'm in Whittier also. So she is famous in the community, in the restaurants in Uptown Whittier. You hold fundraisers there also with the small restaurants. You do some.
So, I'm always, I host like mommy brunches because moms need to get out. Michelle in the daycare always lends me their space to host my clothing swaps. And that was a lot of fun. So I'm always grateful for that. And yeah, guys, it takes a whole community. And, I love, reading all your comments because it did take a long time to get here. Not only did it take a long time, it took a lot of work, and I'm proud to be here, and I'm proud of all the work. And yeah, so thank you so much for giving me the space to share with you my journey, and hopefully we can be friends after this, and you can hit me up on Instagram, slide in my DMs. And
so everybody wants to do something, but they just don't know how to help. And so thank you for giving us some information on how we can get involved if in different ways, just listening to the podcast to help someone else, if not ourselves. So thank you for giving us all those options, because sometimes you're like, oh, I want to do something, but we don't know the steps to take. So you've given us options. So I really like that you're so full of resources in this.
And I have a lot of if you need resources with with low income therapy, I have that. I have a lot of therapists that follow me. I have a lot of women and therapists who work at the whole child, and a lot of therapists that focus on the Latinx community. So if you ever need any resources, or I always, before Mrs. Lemus, my Instagram used to be Mommy Yadi Connect, because again, I think it's a New York thing. I'm very good at connecting people. So I meet someone 2 weeks ago and they're like, I do this. And then I meet you and then you're like, I want to do this. I'm like, oh, wait. And I'm like, this is the person. And it's magic. It's crazy. It's crazy. So if you need any type of connect, or you're like, I'm thinking of doing this. And also, don't tell me you're thinking of doing something because I'm going to make you do it. I'm that person also. A lot of my friend was like, I want to start my photography. And I'm like, do it. And now 2 years later, she did a shoot for Vogue. I don't know how that happened, but it happens. I'm just like, do it. You have nothing to lose. Just do it. Right. So, and I love to support, and I'm always available, and my home is always open. And I just want to make sure that what you take away from this is to make yourself available and make your home an open place to help with other women and men too. I mean, I'm sure my husband went through his own kind of postpartum. He didn't do the partum part, but I'm sure he's had to deal with some mental health and his upbringing, and we all have things that we deal with, so
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Can you guys thank Yadi for coming on?
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank
you. This is so cool. Look at all your messages. I was reading cooking channel. Oh my God, that's funny. No cooking channel. Oh, thank you. You guys are so nice. I'm so happy. I'm telling you, my husband loves me now. I'm like his favorite person.
Yeah. So expect. Wait, I need your address. I don't think I have it. You need to send it to me. Just text me your address so I can send
I will.
you a sweatshirt.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you so much. Yeah, no, he's super excited. He like posted it on Instagram and everything. He never posts.
And I'll send you the recording. We'll make like a YouTube out of it, like unpublished. We'll make one and to send you so you'll have it, like to share with him.
Wait, you're recording me crying?
I did. Like, right, Jolene? Yes. Yeah.
Oh my
The
God.
message lives on.
Oh my God. Well, just make sure, guys, my meme, make sure I look cute. And it's funny. Okay. Thank you so much for listening and just allowing me to be part of this. This was really, really cool. So, and also I got to be away from the kids. Yay!
Tell everybody I said hi.
I will. Thank you so much, ladies. And I'll see you on Instagram. Follow me and let's make this happen. So,
Okay.
thank you.
Bye, Yadi.
Bye.